Chipmunk doing another reaction today. We're reacting to a animated horror short for Animation Monday. This is the Snowman Returns. It's been on my list for a little while. I was wanting to check it out, and I was like, what's a better way to do it than on Animation Monday? So we're going to be checking this out.
This Christmas holiday marks the 4-year anniversary of what happened back at that cabin. It seems even longer than that, to be honest, but maybe that's because I've been dwelling on the memory of it for so long. On the one hand, the incident had inspired me to finally finish a new book, and I enjoyed a great deal of success. On the other hand, it was something that still haunts me and gives me nightmares to this day. My plan to spend Christmas alone at the retreat was a last-minute decision. I had been putting it off for the past year, so unsurprisingly, all of the cabins were fully booked. But I did manage to arrange a short stay at a caravan, which was about a mile away from the cabin where I had previously stayed. And although I did have some reservations about being out there again, I figured it was the best way to finally overcome my writer's block. I had tried other retreats in the previous years, but there was nothing quite like that place. There was something about it. I felt drawn to it. And just after a few days of being back there, I found myself completely immersed and had just finished wrapping up the second chapter of my new book. The caravan wasn't quite as cozy or as isolated as the cabin, and it didn't do a great job of keeping out the cold either. Anyway, I decided to take the rest of the day off and just relax and tune into the local radio station for a few hours before turning in for the night. I might have fallen asleep sooner had it not been for a strange announcement over the radio.
You just go to sleep?
You close like that? Mysterious lights being sighted in the night sky. I wasn't a big believer in UFOs, but I was curious, and since the skylight of the caravan was completely covered in snow and I couldn't see all that much from the windows, I decided to step outside to see if I could get a glimpse of the strange lights for myself. Snowfall from the previous night had blanketed the entire area with a fresh coat of snow and ice, but I didn't let the chill distract me too much. But it wasn't long before my attention to the night sky was eventually drawn closer to the horizon, and that's when everything I'd feared about returning to that place had come true. It was the snowman. Just as I remembered him. It wasn't too late to walk away, but despite the appeal, it also meant being back at my noisy apartment with an unfinished book, and most importantly, no answers either. Why me? Why this place? And why was it happening again? I was afraid, but I still felt compelled to stay at the caravan. Perhaps things might be different this time around. Maybe somehow, someone found out about my retreat, and this was some kind of elaborate hoax. It was at that moment I made a choice. I wasn't going to let the snowman drive me away. Not this time. Perhaps I could finally put an end to the nightmares and the fear by facing up to it. After a few minutes of sitting at the table and collecting my thoughts, I peeked through the front window of the caravan. Maybe this time it was just a regular snowman. Wishful thinking, I know, but I decided to do my best and just ignore it.
Yeah, you had a
try to get some sleep. I'm not sure how long it took me to finally drift off, but something woke me up suddenly from a deep sleep. I already knew that.
Sir, you are sleeping on top of the covers.
Same feeling that I got when I was inside that cabin, except it seemed like more
Probably
than
with
the
your shoes
sleeping I was
still on.
hearing. I felt it all around me. I had kept the radio on, but now there was just static, and all I could hear was the cold storm outside. I began to wonder that maybe it was all just a dream, just another nightmare. There wasn't a snowman outside, and I was just being paranoid because I was back at that place. But then I opened the curtains. The snowman was still there and had moved closer. It really was happening again, and I had no idea how to stop it. I figured the best thing I could do was just try to ignore it, just carry on as usual and pretend it's not there. So I sat back at the table and began to work on my book. However, It wasn't long before I realized that ignoring the situation was going to be a lot more difficult than I thought, as I acknowledged the sound of snowballs hitting the caravan. Which eventually escalated to what sounded like small stones being thrown at the windows. It was obvious that the snowman didn't like being ignored, so once again, I approached the window and opened the curtains. But instead of the usual reaction, I found myself somewhat confused at what I saw.
Turn his back on
The
you.
snowman was missing a face, or perhaps now facing in the opposite direction.
I was thinking facing the
Either
opposite
way,
direction.
it was something that hadn't happened before, and I had a feeling I was in for a long night. After another stretch of deep sleep, I woke up again. I still wasn't sure exactly what caused me to wake up so suddenly, but it was strong. Then I noticed something strange. The skylight was no longer covered in snow. Perhaps it was the wind, but I'd never seen the sky through it before. Then I felt a cold chill, followed by something that genuinely gave me a scare.
The door
The
was
caravan
open.
door was open. Initially, I thought I'd been robbed, but my belongings were still there. But some things definitely seemed out of place, and I no longer felt safe inside the caravan. As I went to close the door, I couldn't help sense that there was something unusual about the landscape. But it was hard to tell due to the heavy snowfall.
Check the cabin, bro.
It took me a while to work up the courage to open the curtains again. But with the benefit of hindsight, I braced myself for the worst. However, nothing could have prepared me for what I saw next. The snowman was gone, and for the first time that night, I experienced relief,
Leave.
albeit a hint of anxiety,
He's inside.
of not knowing where the snowman was,
He's inside.
or if he was still out there. I was still shaken up due to the apparent break-in, and took the mere notion that the snowman was gone as an opportunity to leave the caravan.
He's not gone, he's inside.
Resort, which was only about a 10-minute walk away. However, after packing my things and stepping outside, the events of that night took a sinister turn. The resort was gone. There was no sign of anything on the horizon, not even the soft glow of distant lights. And that's when I realized the true gravity of what had happened. The caravan had been moved, somehow without leaving any trace. I had no idea where I was, or how far away I was from the resort. All I could see was a bland white landscape in every direction, and with the prospect of getting lost and freezing in the snow, I reluctantly returned to the caravan.
That's fine. You moved the whole
It's been 3
caravan route,
days
you know.
since I last saw the snowman. And as reassuring as that is, supplies are running low, and I have just enough gas to keep me going for a little while longer. Still trying to fathom how the caravan was moved and how it was done without leaving any tracks in the snow, I pondered over the possibility that I may never escape this place.
It's possible.
All I can really hope for is that this story will help raise awareness of the hidden perils that lurk beyond the inherent dangers of being out there in the snow. It's not always the cold that gets us. There might be something out there, hiding in plain sight.
There you go, you're sleeping in the coast.
Because wherever there's snow, there can always be a snowman.
On the top of the caravan. Interesting. It's a nice little short, the narration story. It used to be more of that like way back in the day, as far as just like with animations and stuff. But it is definitely entertaining. I don't know what exactly happened with the caravan being moved, or how you didn't feel it, or how long you've been out there, because you went to sleep several times, and then you went back to working on your book, and then went back to sleep. It's like, it's a whole bunch of things I did differently in that situation, but yeah. It is what it is. He probably should have went back into the resort before he went to sleep. He tried to run and make it. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. It's definitely a lot of possibilities there. But yeah, it was entertaining enough. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. How y'all felt about it. What y'all would have done in the situation with the snowman. Y'all let me know. Y'all definitely let me know. I've been afraid to fight it. That's been the only thing. Because I was like, I don't know what it's capable of. It's a snowman that moves. I don't know what the heck is going on with it. So I was like, I don't know. But if y'all like this video, please put a like on the video. If y'all like to subscribe to see some more my reactions and other type of videos, please do. Thank you all so much for jumping on and giving me a try. I really do appreciate it. Please do take care of yourselves and others. Peace and geekdom.